Welcome, class. In a day and age where society demonizes the one percenters of our generation and frowns upon the capitalistic greed of some individuals, it will not come as a shock that this has occurred in the past before. History is something that tends to repeat itself and can be captured in the saying, there is never anything new under the sun. From the proletariat and the bourgeoisie to the current anger towards the one percenters, history seems more like a cycle rather than a timeline filled with events. Today, we are going to talk about the growth of American industry and the leaders that brought about this growth in America. Here's your introduction for the assignment that we will be working on this week. You are a reporter for the New York Times in the late 1800s, and you are writing an article on one of the four industry leaders of this time, which include Andrew Carnegie, Cornelius Vanderbilt, J.P. Morgan, or John D. Rockefeller. Providing information from your research of primary and secondary sources, write an article stating whether you felt that individual was a captain of industry or a robber baron. These are the players. The players that you will choose from will include Carnegie, which is on the top left corner, the man that brought about the steel manufacturing and erecting of buildings and bridges that we see today, Vanderbilt, the top right corner, the train tycoon that helped build our entire nation's transportation and freighting industry, as well as Carnegie's mentor when Carnegie was younger. We have Morgan, who's on the bottom left-hand corner, who helped create the big banking industry that we see prevalent today. And last, at the bottom right-hand corner, we have Rockefeller, noted for his work in the petroleum industry. Here's information you will need to know about pertaining to the industry leaders you will be writing your article on. While performing research, gather information that answers the following questions that must be answered in your article. What is their background in history? Did their past influence their success? What industry did they control? Did they have any competition? If so, how did they deal with competition? What were some of the main criticisms about the leader? Did they have any positive contributions to society? Does the industry that these individuals create still exist today? Decide whether they were a robber baron or a captain of industry. The article format that we are going to be utilizing for this article. So you're going to be writing an article answering the questions that were on the previous slide in APA format. The article must have a catchy title to grasp the viewer's attention. Articles must be at least 2 pages long, double-spaced, written in Times New Roman 12 font. Our first day on this project, you will be utilizing your Chromebooks to gather evidence based on industry leaders you have picked. You will need to gather resources from 2 reputable sources. Wikipedia is not a reputable source. My suggestion is to use sites such as Google Scholar or other reputable sites like the encyclopedia, bibliographies, or anything like that. While gathering this information, you will be answering the questions from the previous slides. On the second day, you will be getting into groups based off of the industry leader that you guys chose. So you guys are going to be getting in groups where you guys all have the same industry leader. You guys are going to be comparing your research notes, comparing your resources that you guys utilized, and discuss opinions on whether the industry leader was a captain of the industry or a robber baron. Then Wednesday through Friday, you will actually be writing the article. You will need to ensure that your article has the following qualities. Needs to have a catchy title, must be 2 pages in length, double-spaced, and Times New Roman 12 font. Resources. You're going to be using the resources that I have below. I actually gave you guys and provided 1 resource for you guys, but just keep in mind you do have to come up with 2 additional reputable resources. And like I said on the past slide, you guys could utilize Google Scholar, encyclopedia, bibliography sites. You guys get to choose it. Just make sure that it's a reputable site. Your references must be sourced, and they must be sourced in APA format, and plagiarizing will not be tolerated in this classroom. First up, Andrew Carnegie, our steel mogul. The other person you could choose from is John D. Rockefeller, our patron of petroleum. J.P. Morgan, our billionaire banker. Or Cornelius Vanderbilt, our train tycoon. Now, for the grading rubric, you guys will be graded on research, your article, and grammar and punctuation. In order to um, do well on this assignment, you guys need to make sure that you guys are following this grading rubric. It's very important. So, like I said in the past slides, you guys need to make sure that you guys are doing great research and finding great sources with that research. During the article, while I'm reading through these articles, I want to make sure that you guys have enough information and content. And obviously, grammar and punctuation is important. In closing, what my goal is for you guys is I want the students to be able to learn about various industry leaders and establish whether they were captains of the industry or robber barons. Based off of these opinions, I want you guys to think about the leaders in our industry that we see today and their role in society. I want you guys to be able to compare and contrast these leaders of industry from today to the ones in the past. For future extension activities, I would like to do a Socratic seminar with you guys so we could compare and contrast between the industry leaders from the past and the industry leaders that we see today. These are some of the Common Core standards if you guys are interested. Most of you guys might not be, but it's one of those things where it's important to know what you guys are actually learning and that I'm doing my job as well. So these are the two Common Core standards that we're actually going through while we're doing this project. And I always like to end off to see if any of you guys have any questions. So please raise your hands and let me know if you guys have any questions.